Moving by giving us one big colossus roar on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! All right, we have a very esteemed panel for you here today. We're going to be here for a couple of hours, so what we'd like to do is we will introduce ourselves, give you a little idea of who we are, and then we will open it up for questions. We hope that you have some very intense, very personal questions for us today. So we're going to start at the end of the table with a man who needs no introduction at MAGFest, and yet he's going to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Drunky Crow. Hi, John St. John, voice actor, blah, blah, quiet.
Much, all of you!
It's great. You know when you get up in the morning and you get out into your living room and you see the mugs half full of beer with cigarette butts in them, that's what this guy smells like. I'm John Patrick Lowry, voice of the sniper in Team Fortress 2, Halo Reach, Halo ODST, Infamous, lots of big.
I'm Melinda McLean, the voice of GLaDOS and the announcer on Team Fortress 2. I'm not the announcer. And I'm Overwatch and Half-Life 2. Queen of the Vortalk in Godzilla, which is a game that nobody knows about. I still want people to find it and put it up on my Facebook page so I can listen to something that I did as Morticia, Queen of the Vortalk.
I have one here. Okay. Hi, I'm Sherry Ellington,
And I'm not hungover. But today is mine, so I'm hopeful.
Why are you not hungover?
I know. Well, thank you.
Don't you encourage that, you the kid. Don't do it to her. It's not fair.
Yes, you and me later. All right. I am the voice of Star Paladin Cross in Fallout 3. Beatrice the Whore. Thank you very much. Also, I've done voices on Star Trek and Morrowind and a variety of other things.
My name is Wes Johnson, and Wes Johnson, no, you're right, that's the official name. I play characters like Shea Garrath, and that means cheese for everyone! A chance, and I'd like to wish all of you into the dark, brother, dear child of sickness. And a few other things, Fox in Fallout 3, Mr. Berg, some of the sentry bots, the protectrons, blah, 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 and thank you for having me.
There he was, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Is that all? Hi, I'm Mike Lawson. I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a couple of Star Trek games, and all over Fallout 3 has a couple of different ghouls. I'm really glad to be here, you bunch of smooth skins. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris Neosi. Most of you guys probably know me as Kerber online, if you know who I am at all. I've been doing voiceover professionally for about 2 years. Primarily I'm an animator. I do a lot of cartoons on the internet, newgrounds.com and things. I got my start on an anime based on a very popular video game, good old Pokemon. It's based out of New York. We recorded the show with a character named Corey, whose existence was to make you buy Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which I'm sure you all did. Yeah. And since then, in terms of video games, I've done a lot of independent ones and like PC games. I was Detective Nikolaj Gursky and Jisei and Kansei, which are these like detective like murder mystery games. I played the final boss in a game called Hunter Realm of Stars, Alcor. A new one called Rocketeer that's coming out soon. Other things I can't talk about. And I'm also doing character animation on Skullgirls, which I think is coming out really soon. So, yeah,
Hi everybody, my name is Craig Seckler. I've been a voice actor for over 50 years. I was the voice of Butch DeLoria in Fallout 3. I was the voice of the elves in Oblivion Elder Scrolls. And my most... and the role that I'm notorious for is I was the voice of the adoring fan.
Just a quick warning to you folks here. Anybody in this room who has killed the adoring fan while playing.
I killed him because he didn't give me a background.
Well, that might happen still today, sir.
I don't remember that. Did that happen to you?
Just a warning that if you actually kill him today in real life, there'll be very real, very legal consequences. If they kill him, yes. Stop right there, criminal scum. Now pay with your blood. Now, we're just going to have to do this the best way we can. So if you have a question for anyone, raise your hand. We'll call on you, and then you'll need to shout out and project and let us know who your question is for, and we'll answer them all as best we can. I saw one hand right there jump up first. Yes, sir. Stand up, please. You, sir.
John, how much did you have last night?
Way too much.
All right, yes, sir. The gentleman next to him.
This one's for Ellen. First off, thanks for bringing to life such an awesome character. When they were filming the last Batman movie, Heath Ledger went completely bonkers for playing such a messed up character. Has that ever happened to you?
I've known Ellen for 27 years. I have never known her to not be completely bonkers.
Way in the back of the room. Ellen, did you want to follow up on that? No, she did. Yes, in the back of the room. What? Shout it out.
Hey, hey, John. Did you have eggs for breakfast?
Okay.
I had eggs for breakfast. Your mom had sausage.
Hold on, over in the front. Yes, go ahead.
This question is for Star Paladin Cross. Why do you keep charging in the melee when I give you a perfectly good Gauss rifle?
Can I get a translator? I have no idea. None whatsoever. Except we're getting drunk later, right, Brown Jacket?
We're totally getting drunk later.
Excellent.
Stop charging in the melee.
I'm really sorry about that.
I've known Sherry for years, and she charges in the melee all the time. In fact, if it says anything, you charged at her, and immediately she's like, let's get drunk! That might answer your question about Star Paladin Cross right there. She's drunk. Any other questions? All right, good day. Oh, yes, right there in the middle.
So, this is really for all of you. Are you at all involved with the development of the games that you voice acted, and if so, how?
No.
Absolutely not.
Next question. Blue hat in the back. Stand up, please.
Duke Newcomb, what's your opinion of power armor?
You already know the answer to this. You just want me to talk in the Duke Nukem voice, don't you? Power armor is for pussies.
Anybody here wearing power armor today?
So we're saying that power armor is basically a chastity belt?
This is a general...
Hi, Devin!
So this is a general question, but what advice would you give to non-union actors looking to break into voiceover in today's market, and particularly those working on their demo now? Good question. John, I love your demos online.
Thank you.
Yes.
First things first, join the union. But before you get there, there are steps that you can take.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the union is the way to go when you're ready.
You got to fight for it.
Right,
don't piss away your money on the union if they're not going to hire you for jobs.
I think that...
And Devin, thank you for bringing the room down. There we go.
I think that, I mean, you know, well, there are people who are in favor of financial core. I think that financial core is going to eventually erode the union, so there won't be any more unions, and then we'll all go back to working for 15 cents an hour, which I think is bad. But I do think that in this market, you want to think about when you want to join the union. Ellen and I have been in the union for decades, and you know, we get work and we pay our bills and we just paid off our condo and we're citizens and stuff like that. So, you know, you can certainly do it. You don't have to be totally famous to do it. But there is this thing called financial core, which is a temptation. It allows you to basically drop out of the union and take union work anyway.
And undercut your colleagues.
Well, yeah, I mean, and undercut your...
Thank you!
And I don't want to take on anyone right here, but there are wildly different opinions about how that works. There's a conversation going on right now about, you know, what the role of unions are in our society, if they have any work to do anymore. And I think that unions need to pick it up on their end to decide how they're going to be relevant in the 21st century. And I happen to be a person who's working really hard to make that happen, because I will be the first to say that unions behave like stupid dinosaurs about 95% of the time. But they do perform a very necessary service, and we have to decide whether or not that service has been completed yet, or whether or not workers still need protection from people who want to exploit them. I think that it's a natural human thing to want to use things up as fast and as cheaply as you can, including actors. And I mean, John being a perfect example. Look at it. I mean, there's nothing. It's just toast, you know. But you know, talk to John. You know, get his opinion. Talk to me. Get my opinion. Talk to these guys. They're both rabid. You know, get their opinions. I think it's a necessary and very pertinent discussion to be having right now as to whether or not unions still protect workers. I think they do. Some people think that they're unnecessary. So, you know, let's keep the conversation going. No.
I think Craig also has something to say, Devin.
Devin, I'm not sure that we've answered your question at all. What I got from it was, how do you develop yourself as a voice actor, and how do you get into the business, that sort of thing. Am I wrong there? Or were you asking specifically about whether you should join the union or not?
No, it was in connection with Rod.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think this is a question that we have to answer individually by phone or email from people all around the world all the time. Everybody wants to know, how do you become a voiceover actor? If I want to be a voiceover actor, what do I need to do? And so I'll just give you my quick little rundown that I tell everybody. I have no idea where any one of you is at this moment within your voiceover acting career, whether you just woke up this morning and decided to be one, or whether you've already been working. So I'm going to start at the absolute beginning. If you want to do voice work, start doing voice work immediately. That means in your bathroom, in your basement, in the closet. Start listening in a way. Obviously, everybody in here is a real listener. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You'd be at other panels that are as interesting as this, if not more interesting. So you've already started just by opening up your ears. You're beginning to recognize our voices. I have a few but very loyal fans around the world who continually email me and tell me, I just heard you do this, I just heard you do that, thank you very much. It's great to be able to recognize your voice. You've got to be able to imitate before you can develop your own style usually. There's nothing wrong with imitation. It's good for you. You want to be able to make yourself work as hard as possible. You work on your range. Do whatever you can, but mostly it's, and then you must be able to record yourselves. Because in the end, we don't do, it's not our voices anybody ever hears. They hear electronic impulses, reproductions of our voices. You've got to make this joker here your best friend, the way the movie stars have to make the camera their best friend. You've got to get to know the microphones. And you've got to replay, replay, replay. Then you've got to find some people to work with and for. In every community, there are people doing it. You can get together with them. You can find a good teacher. Then you can ask that teacher who's their teacher and get the best teacher. And just stay at it. And if it starts to make sense. Some people contact me and they say, what do I do? And I say, I don't know. I need to hear you first. And some of them are ready. And one young man, I said, look, I'm not going to do anything with you because you've worked so hard so far. You're so good already. As soon as you join the union, then I'll help you. Because I won't truly help anybody who's not my union brother or sister. However, I will help people who can get to the point where they're good enough to join the union. I don't want anybody to join the union and waste their money.
Right.
So I told this young man to join the union. He joined the union, and I hooked him up with about 10 or 12 other professionals who have helped him too. And he's now working. But everybody's on their own path, on their own pace. So for any of you who are working toward a voiceover career out there, I wish you the best. There are an awful lot of people already in there before you, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it too. So good luck to all of you. Thanks for listening to me.
There are an awful lot of people in the biz when we were trying to break in too, so you can do it.
And I just want to add one thing, because it used to be that people would say 20 years ago, do you have a good voice? And for men, it was always sort of the voice of God, and for women, it was...
Oh, yeah.
And for women, it was always kind of, a little bit of this throaty kind of sexy voice. Well, nowadays...
Oh, do that again.
Okay. I'll do it as long as you want me to, because I'll be Beatrice, the whore. Anyway, but as far as commercial work goes, it's not really about your voice anymore, it's about relatability. If you can relate to people and you can make them believe in you and believe what you're saying, that's the most important thing. And I've always said voiceover work is 100% about direction. If you can take direction and you can read something for me and then I say to you, okay, that's great, but you need to shave a second off of it and you need to emphasize this word and do this and that, and you can do it, you're good. So that's really what it's about.
And I think what Craig said was very important. Record yourself. Yeah, I mean, there's so many electronic devices out there today. Your phones have recording devices. You can get a tape recorder. You can do it on your computer. What you hear coming out of your mouth in your head right now doesn't necessarily sound like what you're going to hear coming back to you. So you need to get used to that. You need to get used to your instrument. And if you're doing impressions of people, let me ask you a question by show of hands. How many people out there can do an impression of one of the characters that people up here do? Let's see. Okay, we may ask you to prove it, okay?
How many people do an impression at all?
But see, therein, in some ways, is the heart of learning how to change your voice. I think it's, for me, you're mocking someone. How many people out there have ever mocked someone in their life? I show you. A lot more hands. There we go. So, I mean, therein you're seeing a little bit of the heart of voice emulation. And you can take that, you can change that. You hear things on television through your ears, voices from your favorite cartoons, people that you enjoy on programs, video game characters, and you do an impression of them, like maybe what? The Colossus yell. Yeah. Every time you do that, a hungover John St. John cries.
A little piece of me dies every time you do that.
Being from Seattle, in the artsy-fartsy corner of the country, I would like to take this in a completely different direction. I think that the nasty word that a lot of voice actors don't give credit enough to is the acting part of voice acting. We're talking a lot about imitating, a lot about making your voice do different things, a lot about finding out what you sound like. a lot about recording yourself. And I think that in a lot of historical voice acting was mostly narration and commercials. And you needed to fit so much copy into so much time and make sure that you enunciated the name of the product and stuff like that. As we move forward, as animation takes on a larger role in our culture in the form of video games, we're going to run into, and certainly Ellen's and my work up in Seattle has more and more to do with acting, with creating a character, with making sure that you know what your motivation is, what your objective is, what your obstacle is, and all of the tools that an actor uses, sense memory, everything. If